Okay, so I've connected my external microphone. So hopefully the audio is a little bit better. Hopefully it's more clear at least. And in case you were too frustrated listening to that in the past two videos, I'll briefly go over quickly what I've done. So we set up Edge and dark mode. So if you go to the settings app, and a quick shortcut for that is window keys and I for iris or indigo. And you'll see that we're now in the settings app. If you go to personalization and you go to colors, you can choose the mode. So by default it's on light mode. So if I open up Edge, then we'll see that it's in light mode. And when it started up, when I created the profile, which I can just quickly do again, if I delete this, I can just go customize theme actually. So it's using system default. If I change this to dark, then it changes with the system, which is quite nice. And you can change the accent color. So if I change this to rust, then this is orange. If I change this to navy blue, it's navy blue, which I like. And of course I've got a local account set up. I'm not signed into anything, and we're good to go. So if I press Windows X, I can get to terminal. If I press the start and I click on Edge, I can get to Edge, and I do that quite often. So if I just move this icon on the taskbar to the first and second position and I say pin, it's probably better to pin it first, but you know. And if I close these, you'll see that they stay there. But if I press Windows key and 1, it now opens this at the first position. You might think that this should be the first position, but this is like the task switcher or the desktop switcher, task view. You can actually activate that by pressing Windows key and tab, and then you can drag it off to different desktops. I've currently got OBS on this desktop, but let me just move it back to be less distracting. And yeah, it's quite a nice shortcut. So if I press Windows key 1 again, it minimizes. If I press Windows key 2, it goes to Edge. And you can then customize this to your heart's content. Another thing that can help with shortcuts is Windows PowerToys. So I'm going to install that. If I search for PowerToys with winget in the terminal, you'll see Microsoft PowerToys. And if you want to really make sure that that's the one, you can say winget show, and you provide it the ID. And you can see where this install is coming from, and that is the correct one I'm looking for. So I can press up to go back in the history and go down, up and down with the up arrows, and I can use the left and right arrows to then change it to winget install, and that's going to install a whole suite of nice power utilities from Microsoft. It is quite a large download, I see. But I like to have that as kind of a base set of utilities. It's got some nice features, which I'll show you once it's installed. While it's busy, I'll actually just move this off to the side, and I'll show other ones, so other things I'm going to install. So if I look for SysInternals, Microsoft SysInternals is a set of utilities that, let me just do it again, like move file, pinned, PS tools, Process Explorer. I like Process Explorer a lot. And if you don't know, you can right click on the taskbar here and say taskbar settings, but you can also say task manager. If I go to task manager, this is the Windows 11 task manager. So you can see all the different applications running, how much CPU is being used, the memory, the disk. You can also customize this view, I believe. So if you say view, if you right click on the column, you can say command line, which is something I do by default. And then you can see, okay, which command line is running with this application. If I just sort that again, by default, you can see that OBS, it's running from that command line. And some of these services, you might think, what is it? And then you see, okay, well, this is OneDrive, it's running in the background. That's why this is showing here. If I quit OneDrive, and you see that goes away. So this is quite useful. You can also see the performance of the system in these graphs. This is like a resource monitor. App history, you can see, you know, how much time things are running. Not sure. I thought it would actually give a longer history, but yeah, you never know. Things that start up on by default, so you can maybe disable OneDrive from starting up and so on. I don't want Teams. It's disabled already, and so on. You can see what users are logged in, what applications are running, and so forth. So this has been improving, and I can see that the services is also here. So these are Windows services that you can start and stop. Normally you don't need to play with these. But yeah, it's quite fully featured actually. They've been improving this over the course of time. A lot of these used to be different utilities. It looks like they are now being kind of consolidated, which is quite nice. But I like the SysInternals Process Explorer. So I'm just going to install it as well. It's quite quick. If I say proc exp, oops, I missed a letter there. Oh, don't know what it's doing. You see it didn't load it. I have to restart my terminal for the kind of path to be updated. It's not on the path. And we'll see as well PowerToys has finished installing. So let me just close Windows Terminal, reopen it, and say Process Explorer. You have to agree to terms, and I do. And I don't know, I just got used to this application because it did have features that I think are now in the terminal. I mean, in the task manager, like this one, the command line. It's quite easy to get to, sorting it by the tree of what's running. I like this. So you can see that Explorer is what is the parent process of this health sys tray. OBS is running these different processes. This can be quite useful sometimes if you're doing development and you have something running a thread and the parent application or process unexpectedly quits, but then you still have it running in the background like a zombie process. You can see them here, and then you can kill them. So I don't know, I just like it. Anyway, if we go back to PowerToys, there's a few things that I'll show. I won't show them all. Environment variables is quite nice, because if you press Windows I and you go back to the system and you go to About, and you go to Advanced System Settings, and then you click Environment Variables. Here's the Environment Variables view in Windows. So you could say, maybe I want to have one called JB Home, and it's going to be at that path. Right, if I say OK, and I relaunch my terminal, and I say echo, what's the PowerShell, so JB Home, I think it's env, yeah, env JB Home, press tab to complete that. You see that is the environment variable for my user. And it's quite a mission getting to this screen. But also in the past you would not have a nice easy way to edit multiple entries. That's changed over time. Here you can see there's multiple entries that you can add with new, edit, move up and down. But if you say here environment variables, they have a different experience, which it's, you get there straight away, which is nice, but you can also have different profiles and load them. So I don't know, it's quite useful. And here you see that's the environment variable I just added. If you edit it or remove it, you can still doesn't have a really nice experience in my opinion here. Let's go back to system. This one's, I don't know, I think this needs to be worked on a bit, but at least it's quick to get to if you just need to quickly see what the applied variables are. So that's one. FancyZones is amazing. So you can basically, if you have a giant monitor, you can, if you look at the graphic that's showing there, you have these different templates and you can apply them. So if I click open settings, you see it enables FancyZones. If I launch the layout editor, here it is. So let's say you wanted to create a 3-column layout, and now you can just drag this and, well, maybe not this one, but if you hold shift you can then pin it to those different zones. So while I'm dragging, if I hold shift, I see the zones and then it pins it. That's really nice. I really like that, especially if you have a large monitor. It can help keep your windows organized. I've gotten used to just using the Windows shortcut keys, Windows plus left, Windows plus up, Windows plus down, and so on, and the combinations of that. So I don't really turn this on anymore, but if I were to get a big monitor, I would use this. And workspaces is also quite nice, where you can, I don't know, kind of easily start a whole set of applications. I'm not going to show it right now, I'm just mentioning it for you. Let's go back to this one. Shortcut guide. You can launch it using Windows, Shift, and backslash or forward slash, sorry. So basically Windows and question mark. And you see then the shortcuts. And you can see here, Terminal is 1, Edge is 2, Copilot 3, Windows Explorer 4, and so on. And you see, for example, the Windows controls. If you press Windows and left, it'll snap left, Windows right, snap right, down will restore to the non-maximized view, and so on. Windows D will display and hide the desktop, and so on. So that's a nice way of learning some Windows shortcuts. One of them, let me just close this again and press Windows Shift question mark or Windows question mark. And one of them was Windows I, open settings. So yeah, that's how I learned about it actually. And I think that's enough for now. On to the next video.